Good afternoon, Representative Eric Mortensen here out of Shakopee, District 55A, and I have great news today. This past week we picked up two new co-sponsors to the Never Again bill in the state Senate. Senator Lang and Senator Draheim within the last week have co-signed that legislation, so we're picking up momentum in the Senate, which is critically important because as you've been seeing, the establishment Republicans here in the state House, well, they have been blocking a roll call vote on the Never Again bill. So here's hoping that the Senate can pick up this bill and realize the incredible value it brings to every single Minnesotan, since it was really Minnesotans who wrote that legislation. It was your ideas that pooled in. I just put pen to paper and put it into legislation. So over the last couple weeks, we have spent a lot of time here in the State House on the Omnibus Bills. And it was frankly a gigantic waste of time because every single one of these bills is dead on arrival. They're not going anywhere, but we spent up to 15 hours on some days debating these bills and going back and forth and trying to amend them. But ultimately, they're not going anywhere. They're going to go to conference committee, and that's where the House and the Senate have their special committees, and they're going to sit down and go through all these bills and try to hash everything out and come to some sort of common ground. And that is frankly where we need the Republican-controlled Senate to hold firm. No compromising, no deals with Democrats until the peacetime emergency is ended and the Never Again bill becomes law. So please, please reach out to your state senators and demand that they take that action and they hold their ground and do not cave in to the Democrats here in St. Paul. Now, speaking of not backing down, there is a Stand for Liberty event this Saturday down in Albert Lea, Minnesota. And this event has several legislators, and it has Lisa Hanson, the business owner that has been attacked repeatedly by Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. So far that there is a warrant out for her arrest, simply for opening her business, so she and her employees could feed their families. That is the crime that she has committed. That is America in 2021. The media and the statists all across the state have been hammering on me and others for continuing to support Lisa and all the business owners and their employees that have been decimated by Walz's unconstitutional lockdowns and executive orders. They think they can bully us into not attending this event. But I got news for them. I'm not backing down. I will stand proudly with Lisa and any other business owner who's been harmed by Governor Walz's unconstitutional executive orders. As Thomas Jefferson famously said it, if a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so. So if you're around this Saturday between 2 and 7 p.m., show up to Fountain Lake Park in Albert Lea, Minnesota. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Now, again, on the note of backing down, there is something else going on at the Capitol here, and this is a great example of pulling back that curtain and showing you what really happens here. The Speaker of the House, Melissa Hortman, just created this new requirement that every single state representative needs to attend this class. A class on diversity and inclusiveness and discrimination. Essentially, it's her version of critical race theory. And she thinks she can mandate that of us. Well, I don't work for Speaker Hortman. I work for the people who voted for me, my constituents. So a lot of the people in our caucus, the New House Republican caucus, the Conservative caucus, we have said, no, we're not going to be attending your class on how to be a woke Democrat. Not happening. But the other Republican caucus here, they caved into the woke mob and they spent 7 hours last Friday attending this class on how to be inclusive and how to not discriminate. And here's what's funny about this class. This class is supposed to teach inclusion, but they divided the state representatives down here based on political ideology. So they had a class for Democrats, they had a class for Republicans, and then they were trying to do a class for the New House Republican caucus. So how that works to teach inclusion by dividing people, I think they're missing the point. But I am glad that the Democrats are being forced to take this class, because when you look at the legislation that they're putting together, there's a ton of their legislation that actually refers to race, to ethnicity, to the way people look. Now, I can't think of anything more discriminatory than putting into state statute that if you look a certain way, you must be treated a certain way. So I'm glad they're taking a class on how to not discriminate. I hope it hits home for them. That's all for this week, but I hope to see you Saturday. So until then, remember, if you want to be politically heard and politically respected, you must be politically feared.